Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on youtube.com and facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/livenowdt. Plenty of places to watch and listen every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, we're running longer today because I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to speak with our guy Enrico Mastroianni, and he has a bunch of supporters, and I apologize for making y'all wait here. I know you were sitting in the queue here. I thought some Rob Conrad, some of you, realizing when Miami was a good team. I mean, Enrico's a Cleveland Browns fan, so he has to remember a lot farther back. But, I'm always happy to have Rob Conrad on the show. I appreciate y'all for being patient because I wanted to make sure we got to everything this morning and had our conversation with Rob. So thank you for hanging out with us. Thanks for coming back to the live feeds on MixLR, Facebook, and on YouTube for my Enrico Mastroianni crew. And I am very, very excited to have the opportunity to welcome Enrico back to the show in an all-new Pacer Pride. So before we do that, of course, we have to give you that music that I love all too much about this when it comes to Pacer Pride with Marywood University in our multimedia marketing partnership. And now we proudly welcome Enrico Mastroianni, Marywood Pacers men's basketball head coach, back on to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in this edition of Pacer Pride, which airs for you typically around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time every single Friday. We appreciate you being here as Enrico joins us today to not only represent Marywood, but to speak on raising money for a fantastic Leukemia and Lymphoma Society awareness campaign here to help people toward a brighter and better future, and hopefully one day toward a cure. Enrico, how are we doing today?
Doing well, Dan. Thank you, and thanks for bringing me in. And it's a great topic to discuss. I'm happy to do it with you today.
Yeah, and we talk about Pacer Pride, right? Having pride in the community. Well, there's also, having pride in your family on top of that, and pride in being a part of something bigger than us. Prideful in doing something great, stepping outside of ourselves. If there's people out there that are listening and watching that feel this way, I hope you feel this way. When I give back, I don't do it to have somebody tell me, wow, that was great. I give back because it really feels good to help other people. I love to help other people. I love to do things for other people, not for anything for me, but it makes me feel good to know that maybe somebody else's life will be better. And so, sometimes that means taking your jacket, throwing it over the puddle and letting somebody walk over it. Sometimes it means laying on the puddle yourself. And when it comes to Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, you have taken a great task of raising money here this year in 2022 to try and help the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society to obviously have a road toward a cure and a road toward helping with different treatments and different things that they do. So I'm going to just open the door and let you walk through it on why you chose to do this and just what this campaign means to you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And, it's definitely not something that I thought I would ever really get involved in on this magnitude. I was actually asked to do it by a friend, an old friend who I went to high school with, who had a son that had leukemia and at a very young age and is now in remission, which was a great story, a great relief for all of us in the community. And, she reached out to me throughout the year, just kind of suggesting, hey, I think you'd be a really good candidate for this, really trying to raise awareness, trying to raise funds for the Northeast PA Society, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I think you'd be a great representative for it. You're in the community, people are aware of what you're doing, and, I'd love to, nominate you if you're okay with that. And it really did take me some time to decide to do it because we were in the middle of our season, and obviously I wanted to focus on the guys, and then we had our giving day coming up, and, I didn't want to interfere with that. So, but I felt compelled to say yes. Like there was no way I could say no to this because so many people have been affected, Dan, in so many ways, and myself included. I am sure, most listeners know I lost my dad to cancer 20 years ago. And it was a very difficult time, and it's still difficult for our family. And I still look back and say, I wish my kids would know my dad, and I wish he was at my wedding and all these different events in my life that, he didn't get to be a part of. And I felt like, if I don't step in and do something about it now, then somebody else 20 years from now is going to be saying, I wish, I wish, I wish. And so, I just kind of felt like this is the time I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to do this. And hopefully we can get the community to support it and raise these funds that are needed to help fight these deadly diseases.
Yeah, and I think it's so imperative for us to really, understand that, for those that don't know about leukemia and lymphoma, just what you can say, Enrico, about, obviously there's, like you said, this mission to aid and help them in this society is personal, but to go one step further and maybe to give people some information and some background about why, because, we get inundated with information all the time and, getting asked to, give to different things. So why specifically should we give to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and to your direct mission to help them?
Well, in particular, this year's campaign is supporting a local boy and girl in our community who have been diagnosed, and one is in remission now, thank goodness. But it is something that is affecting so many people, so many lives, and these are young children. I mean, children who have a beautiful life ahead of them that, somehow, some way, if we can support, will get to live longer and experience more things in their life. And it's just, there's nothing more devastating than seeing young ones suffer with these types of illnesses. And we also at Marywood had, an assistant baseball coach. I won't name him because I don't want him to feel, a certain way about it. But he's on my team. He's trying to help me support this cause. And he has just recently been in remission now. So, there's just so many people that are around us. And Leukemia Lymphoma Society has done so much over the years. One note in particular, invested more than $1.3 billion in cutting-edge research since 1949. It's such a worthy cause, and it's something that I think any support in any way is helpful, right? I mean, we love the big donors, of course, and the sponsors and the partners and all that, but I don't think people really understand that the strength is in the numbers. Yeah. And, when I post something out there and I'll say, hey, this weekend, for instance, right now we're in the midst of 100 donors in 100 hours, right? It started Wednesday night at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and we're going to go until midnight on Sunday or, Monday morning. And, it's great. We have donations coming in, but they're like in the $25, the $50, $100 range. That's all wonderful. But even if you donated $1, I hate to say that because I know most people can afford more than $1, right? Especially for a cause like this. But $5, $10, anything at all, just to get the volume in, because if we hit that goal and we get 100 donors in that time, the campaign will generate an extra $1,000 towards, funds. And that's just huge. It's like there are so many challenges that are out there that people are willing to put money towards it if you're willing to do the work. So I'm going to keep trying to do my part and keep doing the work, and hopefully with the help of your listeners and the community and my Marywood community that I've been grateful for their support. Sister Mary Persico has supported me in this cause, and the community has gotten behind it. Hopefully we can accomplish these goals.
Yeah, and it's been a beautiful thing. Many thanks to the countless people that have donated already to the campaign, and we look forward to you making a donation today. You can follow the links on all of our social media. I'm also putting that link currently onto our Facebook live feed here. So facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. I'll be sharing a separate post of it. It's on all the posts that we put on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT to say that Enrico was going to be on the show today. It's on our Twitter multiple times at Call DT and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. We just shared it again to our Facebook live feed, so make sure you check that out today. But Enrico's Man and Woman of the Year fundraiser, and we ask that you do that any amount, big or small, which 100 donors in 100 hours, which expires this Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And as Enrico said, if there are 100 donors in 100 hours, then we will see an extra $1,000 gift given toward the campaign to help out. Again, you could give as little as $1, as much as whatever number you want to give, but it's about getting 100 donors in 100 hours between now and Sunday night so that we can get that extra $1,000 donated toward the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society through Enrico's campaign. Enrico, for you, what have you learned about yourself in running this campaign? I mean, you're a father of 3. You are a husband. You are a father of a dog now as well. You have your incredible mom. You have your basketball staff. You have your players, your student athletes on the team. You're a head coach. You're out there recruiting. You're doing 1,000,001 things. And on top of all of that, you're also running this campaign for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. What have you learned about yourself through all of this?
Well, I think the main thing, and I think I already knew, is just that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the blessings I've been blessed with in my life. And you mentioned my family and the support that I have there, and not just my immediate family, obviously, but the extended family and the friends and those along the way that have followed my career and kind of pushed me along the way and encouraged me along the way. Some of my mentors and coaches out there that have supported me in all my efforts and all my causes. And, it's a lot to do. And sometimes you feel, how do I say, embarrassed, humbled, I guess, to have to keep, trying to involve your network in some of these things that you're doing, some of these causes. And, you feel worried a little bit sometimes that people might think, oh God, I don't want to hear from that guy because all he's going to do is ask me for money, and I hate to be in that position, but at the same time, I know what I'm asking for. And so I don't feel bad about it because I know what I'm asking for is a worthy cause. And it's not, this isn't money going into my pocket. I don't stand to gain any promotion from this. What it is me trying to use my platform and my voice and my energy to try to raise funds for somebody else out there in the world that could benefit from this kind of help.
Yeah, and like you said, you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart to help, and you're taking this very personally. And I'm somebody that, obviously owning my own business, I have to do things as well, right? I have to send out emails and text messages and, grassroots it and remind people this is how you listen to the show and this is how you can connect with the show and this is what you could do to be a part of this. And please, and I've asked, give back to that or, make sure you go here and whatnot. And Enrico, I think it's important, and I'm going to, if you allow me to, I'm going to speak on your behalf in this. When Enrico sends you a text message or an email or a Facebook message, the times that he's doing it this year, I mean, really, once a year, he asks you to donate to the men's basketball program. And, I mean, obviously you could donate throughout the year, but on Giving Day, there's a massive, push for that. There's the tip-off dinner as well, and we ask you to be a part of it. The other thing this year is the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And I got to be real with people out there about this because I've had to go through it where everybody gave me their email when I was running trivia, and then I would send out emails, and then you get that person, please don't send me another email about trivia. I don't want another email about trivia. Why are you sending me an email about trivia? Because you asked me to. So, I mean, I think what people need to understand is when you're somebody like Enrico or myself, we are all about grassroots, right? We can pay Facebook to run a bunch of ads. We can do this, do that. We can buy a billboard and whatnot. But we find it imperative to come to the people that we know directly. I have over 3,000 numbers in my phone, and if 3,000 people donated $1, that's $3,000. So to me, when Enrico reaches out to you, when he says, "Can you give back? This is important to me." Understand that you get a lot of information. You get stuff in your mailbox, right, that you didn't ask for. You get this and whatever, but kindly, if you're not going to donate, if it's not something you're going to do, that's your choice, that's your opinion, that's your prerogative. But understand that somebody who is fighting to help a society that helps to try and save the lives of people, we have, there's people, unfortunately, in this world that live in the next door neighbor approach. It's not me, it's my next door neighbor. My next door neighbor has cancer. My next door neighbor's kid has cancer. My next door neighbor got broken into. My next door neighbor just had something stolen. My next door neighbor had a tree fall on his house, but it's not my house, so I don't care. It's not my kid, so I don't care. It's not my mailbox, so it doesn't matter to me. In reality, God has a funny way of showing you that if you don't care about your neighbor, one day you'll be faced with a place where you ask yourself the question, does my neighbor care about me? And when Enrico sends out these emails, these text messages, it doesn't bother your day. It doesn't obstruct you. The Kardashians obstruct my day, okay? There's traffic obstructs my day. There is trying to get to the bank and finding out that the ATM's not working may obstruct my day. But I don't complain about trivial things. And when you get sent a message from a fantastic person trying to help a society to save the lives of our children and adults, our grandparents, our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our neighbors, make the time to donate $1. And if for some odd reason you can't donate at least $1, thank Enrico for sending you the message, because he thought about you and thought that maybe you'd want to help. And anytime somebody is building a house in a community and they knock on all their neighbors' doors, you wouldn't want your neighbors to slam the door on you and say, no, I can't carry a brick. No, I can't move my car over this way. You would hope that if you were building a house and you knocked on doors, that at least 5 of those people would come help you build your house. So Enrico's knocking on a bunch of your doors today and tomorrow, asking you to help him build towards something great. The least you can do is pick up a brick, give $1, and help out a society that really needs your help.
Yeah, well said, man. Really well said. And honestly, that is part of this, right? It is a humbling experience when you're getting those kind of feedback messages like, please don't bother me with this, take me off your list, all that stuff. And I understand it completely, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their prerogative. And, I certainly don't intend to be pushy, but I am a persistent person, and I do have a cause and a reason for sending that message out there. So nothing's really going to stop me from doing that. But I do sometimes feel like people don't understand that there's more power in the numbers than in the volume of your donation. And even for those people who may have already donated, right? Like you may have already donated, but if you're getting the message again, you know that this challenge is going on this weekend, put in another $1. You may have already donated 50, but guess what? Make it 51 and put in that extra $1 this weekend, and now we'll get 1,000 out of it, right? So there's got to be some kind of you got to have some kind of a vision to understand that there's a reason why you're being asked to do this. It's not, it's not an empty situation. There's value in this. So hopefully we'll get that message across.
Yeah, and helping out this Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, an imperative thing to do. And for you, Enrico, like you said, it's a humbling experience. It's a reminder, to pay it. You mentioned your dad, and I can imagine that for you, in a way, you're honoring your father by doing this, and I'd love to hear more about that and how maybe your dad and his fight can live on through you and what you're trying to do for somebody else.
Yeah, and it's ironic, Dan, that just this morning I got a donation, and I won't mention his name, but and many people know I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. I lived in Cleveland until I was almost 3, and then my family moved to Scranton, PA, and but I still have family out there and relatives, and now my brother has, moved his family out there, and they're out there in that area. And one gentleman donated this morning and put a message in the comments. You were too young to remember, but I was your neighbor when your family lived on Carlisle Avenue in Cleveland many years ago. The picture of your dad is how I remember him. And, wishing best wishes to the campaign and to the family. Just the outreach and the outpouring of people across the country has been incredible. A couple weekends ago, we did the 50-state challenge, and, we didn't hit the 50 states, but we got pretty close. And we had, a donation from New Mexico, one from Colorado, one from California, Minnesota, Michigan, Georgia. All these different places where I've never had any family ties, but we have a connection. We have a network. There's somebody knows somebody, and so that word gets spread out. And I think, you mentioned pay it forward and my dad, and, my dad was a pay it forward guy. My dad did everything for us. He was always around us kids, and especially, my brother and I playing sports. I mean, until my sister stopped playing sports, he was coaching her in softball, and then he was around us all the time and would work his work schedule around my games to make sure that he could attend my games. Just having his presence around, it was just meaningful and important to me. And, when that was lost, we felt it. And, I can't imagine how many families have been going through the same thing or have experienced the same thing. And so many families that don't even know what that experience is like because they haven't experienced it, thank God. And you hope that they never do. But like you said, Dan, if you keep looking in the house and saying, well, it's not me, it's somebody else, eventually it can get to you. So, you should pay it forward. You should take that initiative to say, hey, I want to do something impactful. And even if it is $1 on a Saturday afternoon to a campaign that I don't really know much about, it's something that's going to go a lot farther than you probably realize.
Yeah, and that like you said, getting a donation of saying, you may not remember me, but I talked about the neighbor approach, and there you get it. I was your neighbor, and that's how I remember your dad. And that gets me worked up here in the studio, and I'm sure it gets you emotional. But I didn't know your dad, and you tell me, and you said that this morning, and I'm getting emotional, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, like, your father, and these are the things where that, like, your family, like, someone's left a legacy. I never met your dad, but the day I get to meet him, hopefully when I'm 100 some odd years old, the day I get to meet your dad in heaven, and I'll tell him right now, he raised one of the greatest people that I've met. He's raised one of the best friends that I know. Somebody who has been in my corner from the day that I met him, who has fought for me from the day that I met him. And your dad, whether you raise $1, $1 million, whether you win 1,000 games as a coach or 500 games as a coach or whatever it is as a coach, to me, your dad, that's all well and good, and I'm sure he'll be there and he would clap. But, the way you describe your dad and who you are as a person, he'd clap on a game you lost. He'd clap if you raised $1. He'd clap if you tried your best. I feel like he's the type of father would say, son, did you try your best? Yeah, I did, Dad. Well, then good for you. I'm proud of you. And I can honestly tell you that knowing you, I feel like I've gotten to know your father. And if your father was anything like you, I can honestly say that he was a great man because he raised a great man. And I am very, very grateful to do whatever I can to help with whatever cause you have, because in my opinion, if you're anything like your dad, I can't wait to meet him someday.
Man, I tried, when I was telling my story, I was trying to hold back some tears, but now you got me going here, Dan. That wasn't fair.
Sorry.
No, I appreciate that. And, you're spot on, 100%. That's the type of father that he was. He had a lot of patience with us. We were a raucous house, just like mine is right now. But he was very patient and very encouraging and supportive. And, he did his best to promote us without interfering. He wasn't one of those dads that got in the way of things. He didn't coach me or my brother in sports, but he stood on the sidelines quietly, didn't talk to coaches, didn't have opinions about things, just like you said, he wanted to know, did you do your best? If you did, I'm proud of you. That was it. And I try every day to take that same approach with my kids. And, I'm coaching my daughter now, Angelina, in AAU. And, it's challenging. I tell you, to coach your child is challenging because, you want them to do better. You see that they can be better, and you want to bring out the best in them. But at the same time, you have to be that, arm around, I love you, I'm proud of you, do your best kind of thing. And, I'm trying to take that approach with her and with Ellen and Marco as well. So it's like you said, you do know my dad because, we are very much the same, and a lot of the things, the approach is the same. The most important thing was to him, and it is to me, his family. And, as long as we have that, we have everything.
Yeah, and that's being part of a greater family and a greater mission, right? Giving, and I've said this before, giving back to me, I mean, it makes me excited. It gets me happy. I love, I look forward every year to Marywood Giving Day because and Enrico knows this. When the teams are getting close to their goals, I'll wait and I'll be like, I want to be, I want to send them over the goal. I want to be a part of this in a big way. I want Enrico to refresh the page and see that, now they're $1 over their mark or they're $20 over it. Giving back I love Christmas because I love giving to people. I very rarely think about what I got. It's like, what can I get for my dog Lily? What can I get for Carrie? What can I get for my friends? I love doing stuff for my godson. I went to Disney and I was buying stuff for my nieces and my nephews, and what can I get them that I know that they don't have? And I'm texting their dad and saying, hey, guess what? Don't buy this when you come down here. I'm really proud of it. I want to give it to them. I can't wait. And so, there's something to be said about giving back, and in this world we need it now more than ever. And I'll tell it to you like this, and this is not in any way to promote. You know what? I'm going to take myself out of it. I'm not going to talk about what I did. I'm going to talk about what my dad did, because I can tell the story from my point of view, but I want to tell about my dad. My dad and I were having dinner and a couple nights ago, and I was talking to him, and I don't know how he got on it, but he said, I said, I got to return my bottles and cans. They're in the back of my car. And I said, I put them in a rainy day fund usually. And my dad was talking to me, and he said, Daniel, he said, I just returned all my stuff. And I don't know, he got like $10 or something. He had a bunch of stuff. And he said, I usually try to give it to somebody that's there. And, my dad will return all this stuff, and then he just gives it to a stranger. And, and my dad, knowing that story from my dad and feeling like I could do a lot better in my life here recently, I went yesterday to return the bottles and cans, and I was excited. I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, I got, I'm going to have $3 in cans, and this is fantastic. And there was a guy next to me, and it didn't seem like he was homeless, but it seemed like he wasn't in a great place. And he was lingering around. He was looking for other bottles. He was checking different stuff that maybe was left there. And he had some stuff at the bottom of his cart. And, I had the $3 and I was going to go to turn it in. And I thought to myself, no. And I turned around and I said, here. And he said, no, that's okay. I said, no, take it. And he said, okay. And I walked away, and I thought to myself, if it's $3.
Right.
And I thought to myself, whether it's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of what you're doing, it's $3. Whether it's, giving something to somebody that you don't know. And the funny thing about it is, something inside of me told me there's something about this man. There's something about him, and it spoke to my heart. And I kid you not, Enrico, I turned around after I walked to my car and he was gone.
Wow.
And you never know who you're helping. And I tell that story for no accolade to me. I tell it more for my dad. My dad paid it forward, and it moved me. And so I credit my dad with his graciousness and his kindness. And my dad was just talking to me about all this money he had to pay in taxes, and, oh my God, Daniel, you wouldn't believe how much money I had to give back. And so to him, at that point, he could have been like, hey, you know what? I want this $10. I just had to give thousands of dollars to the government. And it was I give it to somebody else. I help somebody else. And in the same respect, my dad and I were in line, and there was a little kid in front of us with his dad, and my dad looked at him and he goes, I love your shirt. Man, I love your jacket. Your jacket's awesome. And it was a Cars jacket for, Lightning McQueen.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just looking at my dad saying, my dad's in his 60s. This world could have bittered him. There's a lot of things that have happened that could have made my dad upset. My father's dad passed away when he was in his 30s. And it could have been easy for my dad to say, you know what? Actually, at the age I am right now, 36. And so, my dad could be bitter, but he's decided at 67 years old to try and do better. And, it's stories like that move me every single day. And that's what links me back to your story and your mission of what you're doing is, we're caught up in this life, and then something inside of us just says, you know what? Why not? And I really hope that today our conversation pushes you all to follow the link for Enrico's Leukemia and Lymphoma Society mission here to think, why not $1? Why not $3? Why not $50? Why not $20? Why not $100? Because none of this money is going to me. None of it's going to Enrico. It is all going to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And you never know the person that you're going to help. And you never know when God is just saying hello. And yesterday when I turned around and that guy was gone, I thought to myself, was he ever there? Was that a test? Was that God saying, hey, I've given you a lot. Did you remember to give back? And so I ask you all today, have you remembered to give back with all the great things that have happened in your life? Have you remembered to give back even just a little bit?
Yeah, and I think the other thing, Dan, too, is like some people may have the approach or the idea that, well, if I can't give at least $25 or $50, it's not worth doing it. Well, that's not true, and I don't think anybody should be ashamed of the amount of money that they donate. It's just a matter of donating, right? Just doing something, and that's why I said even $1, $5, $10, whatever it is, it's going to help somebody else a lot more down the road than it might help you today. And so just those few dollars that are in your pocket, the change in your pocket, just to donate that is a huge help and contribution to the campaign, and especially this weekend as we're trying to promote the 100 donors in 100 hours. So if people can donate and help support the cause, that would be tremendous. I mean, there's other ways to get involved too, and I think that's the other part of this discussion I wanted to share is we have a big event coming up. On Wednesday, we have a cornhole event, a fundraising event that I've partnered with Northeast PA Cornhole, NEPA Cornhole, a group that runs tournament events here in the Lackawanna County and beyond area in Pennsylvania. Tremendous program group. They've done a great job building up their brand and their tournaments, and they've decided to partner with me in this event. So we're going to be at the Hilton Scranton on Wednesday night for cornhole, and there's both competitive and social division. Again, most of that information is found on my social media. You can look me up on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. All that information is out there, and you can get connected to that program for sure. Dan, you may have some links that you could share with that as well, so on your networks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of wanted to just give you free rein as a final note here, Enrico, of anything else you want to share about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society mission that you have and why people should donate back. And I want to let you all know that are listening live, thank you for being here inside of the Cafe Cubal Studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. But this will be shared through all of our outlets. You will be able to listen back to this interview with Enrico Mastroianni and learn how to give back, and the links will be connected to this in our and for those of you that are watching on Facebook and on YouTube right now, you'll be able to see this. But now, after this show is live, Enrico's interview here on Wake Up Call today will be shared on Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Podbean, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, YouTube, MixLR, and the new editions of Amazon Music and Audible. You will be able to go back and listen to this, and we will have a link there for you to donate as well. So there'll be plenty of places for you to reach out and links back to this to continue to get the information that you may need and to support Enrico as well as supporting the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Any further notes you want to make?
Yeah, I mean, there's always ways to help, and even if you don't want to donate or you don't have the means to donate dollars, we're looking for still gift baskets for our raffle event at the cornhole event on Wednesday. We need volunteers to step in and help us run the event, facilitate things. We're also still accepting sponsors at this point for cornhole and for the gala, the grand finale gala on May 18th. There's plenty of ways to get involved. I've sent out thousands of contacts, all this information. But if anybody wants to reach me, you can do that by calling or texting. And I don't mind giving my number over the air, Dan. If anybody wants to help with this cause, I'm certainly willing to share it. It's 570-954-8252. Like I said, we're accepting donations. We're accepting volunteers, raffle gift baskets, gift cards, partners, sponsors, the works. It's just whatever we can do to continue to raise awareness and raise funds for this noble cause is what we're trying to do. The campaign ends on May 18th, and as I said, there's a grand finale gala where the boy and girl of the year will be there honored on stage, and it'll be a huge black tie event, great event for the community, and I'm just happy to be a part of it and honored that I was considered for this nomination.
Yeah, and something just came across my desk speaking about God saying, hey, are you listening? And the simple statement was, God will reveal his glory through you. And so through all the work that you can give, either by donating your money, your time, whatever you can do, donating a gift basket, whatever you can give to Enrico Mastroianni's mission for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is greatly appreciated. Some can give of their time, some can give a gift card, some can give their money, some can do it all. And whatever you can do, we greatly appreciate your help and your assistance. And this has once again been another edition of Pacer Pride here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We appreciate you, and we thank you so much for being a part of this. Enrico, as always, I thank you for all that you've done for Marywood University, for the Scranton, Pennsylvania community, for the Atlantic East Conference, as well as, as more than anything, as a friend, as a father, as a husband. Taking everything you've done and adding Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's donation and mission right now in this year it's been a great feat for you. And, once again, with everything you did for Marywood's Giving Day, the team passed what the goal was as well, and well past your goal. So, I want to thank you for everything that you're doing, and know that it never goes unnoticed or unseen. And like I said before, your father is going to be so proud of your efforts, and please, whatever I can do to help, you let me know, and I'll be more than happy to stand arm in arm with you, because if you told me you were in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean right now, standing up for something, I would say, what rock are you on? What sandbar are you on in the middle of the ocean? And let's go do this together.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. That's a huge bit of encouragement from you, and you know how I feel about you, and I appreciate everything you do for me and have done for me and for my program, and just in general for Marywood University. So thank you for that. And I can't say enough about the worthwhile cause that we're supporting in this, and I just hope that everyone will just give it a thought, give it some time, and then come back and give it a second thought, and more importantly, share it with anyone that you think would be willing to help, because it is something that is worthwhile to support.
That coming from Enrico Mastroianni, talking about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society giving back. The donation link is on all of our social media. It'll be shared again today for you and throughout the weekend. We're looking for 100 donors in 100 hours. And once that happens by this Sunday, April 24th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, when it all wraps up, there will be an extra $1,000 donated to the cause as well. So please make sure you donate, even if it be $1. Enrico, thank you as always for everything. Give a shout out to Elena as well as Angelina, my guy Marco, of course, to Miss Jamie, to Bruno, and to the family. And when you see Mom, give her a big hug from me and let her know that I send her my love, okay?
I appreciate that, man. Thanks, Dan.
All right, man. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Thank you.
See you. Coming from Enrico Mastroianni once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Folks, I'm not going to ask you to donate or give back to something if I don't think it's a good cause, if I don't think it's meaningful, and the people obviously behind it, I know if they're incredible, then I'm going to throw it out there. And so I just cannot tell you enough to follow that link, even if it's $1, and donate to Enrico Mastroianni. Lymphoma is something that is hit home for someone that I love near and dear, and it's time to give back. So do what you can, please, whatever you can. This isn't a telethon. This is a person from my heart asking you to give from your heart. Time, a gift basket, volunteer, or make a donation, or some or all of the above. do whatever you can to help out, because a little goes a long way. And in this world now more than ever, when you're out there by yourself just repairing, right? You're just fixing something, maybe an awning came down and you're out there and you're just doing what you can to repair it, and you're sweating and you're putting the screws in and you got the hammer out, and then all of a sudden your neighbor comes over and says, "Hey, need some help?" That is what we all need right now more than ever, is to walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, how can I help?" And you know how you can help today with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and Enrico's specific mission. So please give back today.